G'day and welcome back to the Weedy Garden. Yeah, you're following the gardening journey of a guy who decided to leave the fast lanes of world travel and photography to begin a more peaceful and healthy life, living in a garden of food on the top of a hill in the bush in Australia. And that's me, and I'm David Trude. A lot of people call me Weedy these days because this is the Weedy Garden, the Weedy Garden channel on YouTube. I'm going to reveal to you today the next exciting 10 episodes that I've got coming up on the Weedy Garden channel. Another perfect reason to subscribe and press the notification button so you'll get updated with these exciting videos I've got coming up. The first one, which I think is the most exciting, is my compost video. I'm going to take a close look at the compost, and before our very eyes we're going to see grass and leaves turn into soil through the help of time-lapse photography and photo skills. Because you see, I used to be a photographer, but now I'm a gardener, so I'm using my photography skills to share my gardening journey with you, my friends. But some of the things I'm working on, they take like 3 weeks, like for example, making a compost in 21 days. It takes 21 days. So I'm filming all these different episodes all at once at the moment, and I'm trying to put out a video once a week. But none of the videos that I'm working on at the moment are ready for this week. So I'm going to do this video, and I'm going to show you what I'm working on. So let's get into it. I'll show you what I've got going up in my compost depot. That's the most exciting one. So in my compost depot, which on that video coming up, I'll actually show you how I made this one. Very simple, another Weedy style compost depot. I call it my soil factory. But up here I've got a camera going, it's powered by the sun. And it's taking a photo every 5 minutes so you can see that I'm not cheating. Our eye won't leave this pile because it's getting turned from this pile to this pile to this pile to this pile every second day. And not only that, I also take a sample every time I turn it, and I put it in this little box with a glass front on it. You can see what I got in here. That's from this morning's turn, and I take it inside to my little tunnel in my little soil studio. Put the light on it, set my camera up, make a nice little clear shot, and I take a picture every second for about 3 or 4 minutes, like this. And we can really have a really nice look at it, the whole process of it decomposing in over 21 days. I'll give you a little sneak preview of what it looks like, okay? Bring my camera around, and I stick the camera in the back of this camera, all right? And with doing that, I look at it for about 30 seconds, and when you speed it up, you can see all the little animals that are running around in the soil. And I'm just curious to see what it looks like. You know, because the first shot, it was obvious. It's really just grass and leaves, but I'm reckon after 21 days, it should all look like soil. And then I bring my little sample in here, see, and I take one drop, and I put it on the glass, like that. I put a little glass on top of that to keep it flat, stick it in the microscope, and then I've got a little thing here I can put my iPhone on and film what I'm looking at. There's something crawling around in there. Oh look, it's a little mite of some sort. We're looking at, he's facing the camera. If I focus down through his body, you can see the top of his body and his back legs down there. And I'm going to show what that looks like as well every second day. So we can see under the microscope how that is affecting, how it's affecting what's happening inside one water drop. The bacteria brew. A lot of people have been making the bacteria brew, and there's a lot of things that I've learned about the bacteria brew since then. So I'm going to do a whole episode on the bacteria brew and how to make your own fertilizer. But on this video, I'm going to show you the setups I've got going because it's pretty exciting. At the moment, my rice water and my milk is turning into curd and whey. And I've got my camera set up, so it's taking a picture every 5 minutes of that, so we can see it going. It's pretty cool. But I'll show you what I've got set up down there, which is looking at the rice water mixed with the milk. And I'm wanting to get that sequence of it turning into curd and whey. And you can see you can see it's just starting to happen down there. Looks like it's starting to separate. There's a flash and you can see what it looks like here. It's really cool. It's going to be really nice to be able to see that. See what it looks like when it separates. Okay, and another exciting video I'm going to make is about seed saving. And seed saving for me is not about saving money, it's about getting the vegetable or the fruit that's been really doing well up here in the garden and collecting seeds from that. And it's important you get heirloom seeds. And it's not called heirloom, it's called heirloom, it's a silent H. So I collect the seeds from my best produce And in this case, it's my cauliflower. And a couple of days ago, it just started exploding in slow motion. So I've got a camera set up here to take a picture. It takes a picture, I think, every 10 minutes. So over the next week, we're going to see this go. I'm going to collect the seeds from that, and I'm going to show how I dry them out and how I preserve them properly so they last, and I can use them again. But that's an interesting episode that I'm doing, and I love using my time-lapse cameras, especially on things like watching a cauliflower explode in fast motion. Talking about cauliflower and talking about cabbages and things like that, sometimes I get a whole lot of cabbages, and I've got too many cabbages, I can't eat them all at once, so I make sauerkraut out of them. And on that video, I'm going to turn this beautiful cabbage into this tasty jar of sauerkraut, which I'm going to put back in my cupboard right now. Another episode that I'm working on, that's taken a couple of weeks to do, is planting mushrooms. The reason it's going to take a couple of weeks to make this video, you need fresh wood to make mushrooms in. You don't want old wood because old wood has already got fungus spores in it, maybe already colonised with a different kind of fungus. So the tree doesn't want to be eaten alive by the fungus. So it's got anti-fungus properties in it, which protects it from the fungus. And they're still in the tree for a week or 2 weeks after it's been chopped down. So they've been sitting here for 2 weeks now. I'm going to plant shiitake mushrooms in logs. I'm going to plant wine caps in wood chips, and I'm going to plant pink oysters in hay mulch. So that's a really good video to look forward to, because I think I've figured out how to plant mushrooms so I can harvest heaps of mushrooms. Great source of protein for the vegetable garden. And I'll be planting my mushrooms in this bed and another one of my tanks that I made. But on this episode, I'm going to be giving away some mushrooms, some wine cap, some shiitake, some pink oyster mushrooms for you guys. There'll be a little guessing competition. And on that guessing competition, I'll be asking how many times I said the word mushroom. So when that one comes out, just be aware. I'll be using some more of this polythene pipe, and I'll be using some more of the shade cloth. We'll make a beautiful environment so we know we're going to get a great harvest, because mushrooms are a great source of protein. So many exciting episodes coming up. Another video I'm working on is one that's going to be like a virtual tour of the Weedy Garden. I did one of those a couple of years ago, that video there. But all I use is this little camera here. It's called a Verb 360, which basically has two cameras going at once where you can see everything. It's one of those videos where you can turn your iPhone around and you can look everywhere around in my garden. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. That'll be called the virtual tour of the Weedy Garden. I'll have to get the garden looking tidy for that one. And yeah, I'll probably have it set up somewhere down here as well, so you can see the bees and the chooks and my dragon fruit and the sky if you turn the camera up that way. You can see everything. But you can have the whole universe, or you can just like zoom in to the little bee. See? And I'm also going to do a video about trimming. I don't mean a beard trim, I mean a forest trim. Like my food forest, since I got it in, I haven't really pruned it at all except my citrus trees. So on this video coming up, I'm going to prune my grapes, going to harvest some bananas, going to prune my avocado tree, and basically going to give my food forest a makeover. But I'm going to keep these just for a little while longer because the bees are really enjoying these. These are called popcorn cashew, and they smell like popcorn. Oh, it's like sitting in the cinema and watching the Weedy Garden movie, isn't it? I've got this ongoing problem with rodents. I've had wallabies, I've had bush turkeys, I've had bandicoots. The bandicoot's the one that's hassling me at the moment. So I've been trying different things to keep the bandicoots out, including this little electric fence. You wouldn't think a bandicoot could get through this, could you? But it does. See, the bandicoot comes all different places at all different times, usually at night time. But I've got this motion sensor night camera set up. And I'm trying to get it, because last time I saw a digger was in here. But the thing is, if I set the camera up in here, it goes a different place and digs. So the chances of getting a shot like this is really rare. But I want to get it closer to the camera and I want to get a really nice shot of it. So I've got this set up all the time, and I've got an app on my telephone that gives me a little notification every time there's movement up here in the Weedy Garden at night time. So I'm laying in my bed at night time sometimes, I get a notification and I look at the camera, and now I can see the bandicoot, and it has an alarm on it as well. So then I just press the alarm and I can see the bandicoot, he runs away. Have you ever thought about moon planting and what moon planting means? It's a full moon tonight. I'm going to plant some seeds. Well, I'm doing a few experiments here up in the garden where I'm choosing different times of the month to plant my seeds after the recommendations of the moon planting guide. So I've got a moon planting guide up there in the shed. I'll show you what that looks like. And I'll show you the seeds I've got set up and a little bit about it. See here, I've got my moon planting guide. This is the 2023 astrological calendar and moon planting guide by Thomas Zimmer, who lives just down the road from me. But see how it shows you've got new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, and you've got all these little colourful little sections here, these little squares of colours. That shows you the best times to plant. Down here you can see these little ones here correspond to these little ones here. So I'm going to try and planting here on the worst time and then plant on the best time and see if the seeds make a difference. And I'll show you the seeds I've got. And here, all the seeds that I want to plant, and because I'm doing it on this time of the month, it's all the fruiting annuals like zucchini, tomatoes, peas, beans, watermelons, rock melons. And then another thing that's this really cool video, which is a lot of people live in the city, right? You live in the city, you've got a terrace maybe, you've got a roof, you've got maybe a little backyard. On that video I'm working on, I'm going to show you a bunch of different little tiny garden beds you can set up, right? So you can have produce pretty much all year round, depending on where you live. But if you've got a little greenhouse or something, I'll show you some really easy garden beds you can make if you've got really small space. That's going to be a fun video because a lot of people are going to like that. Just as a little extra bonus, the 11th one, we're going to look at Weedy. Weedy is the original Weedy Garden scarecrow that I built in the Weedy Garden. He was my pride and joy. He even had eyes that moved around. I was going to say a makeover of Weedy the Scarecrow, but I reckon Weedy the Scarecrow is a bit too far gone, so we're going to make a new Weedy Scarecrow with eyes that move. When I started this garden, I knew very little about gardening, and that's the honest truth. But after 3 seasons of observations, trials and errors, I've learnt plenty. Enough to fill my own tummy with food every day. And on this channel, that's what I want to share with you. So I love doing the Weedy Garden, and I love doing experiments, and I love sharing them with you. I kind of feel like you guys have become my friends. And that's how I feel. And if you feel the same way, then let us know in the comments. And I love people commenting. I get a chance to read them all. I do. I don't get a chance to reply them all. I don't get a chance, unfortunately, to acknowledge them all. But I do read them all. Just so you know, the Weedy Garden channel is all a channel about inspiring you to get into your garden and to grow food for yourself. Not for necessity necessarily, but for the joy of it. Because when you grow your own food and you grow it organically, you're actually doing a really good thing for your body. And we all know if your body's happy and your mind is happy and your heart is happy, you kind of feel like everything's running smooth, right? And eating organic food, it's a really good start to that process. Okay, so that's it for that video from the Weedy Garden. Hope you enjoyed the video, and that's the most important part. So have a nice day, and I'll catch you later.